bouncing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, everything ain't pretty but it's love though. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet. Yeah.
Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid 2023, January the 19th. It's Thursday, baby. Good morning. What's up, y'all? I'm gonna make sure you forget about the Detroit Rams with this song. Listen to the horns. Yeah. What's up, what's up, what's up? Hello, hello, good morning. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid for Thursday, January the 19th, 2023. I know it ain't morning, but it's all good, though. It is all good. What is going on, everybody, in YouTube land? I hope you're doing well. The work week is almost over, and the weekend is almost here. We've got some divisional round football this coming week. Let me holler at my guy, Mr. Poole, so he'll know that I'm on. All right, because I know a lot of y'all don't get the notifications, man. I know y'all don't get the notifications, man. But, man, it feels good to be on talking Detroit Lions. God, I'm still looking for those other people, man, to start talking more than that as well. Man, I tell you what, if y'all going to the grocery stores, I hope you got a 401k, and I hope you got, me and my wife. So I told her yesterday, man, we gonna have to have a strict budget of grocery shopping funds per week because inflation is a trip, bro. You can't even get, noodles. Noodles used to be $2. Now they about $4. That is crazy, bro. But it's just getting started. It is just getting started. What's up, Possum, Matthew, my main man, Nick, and Mr. Poole, the usual crew over here talking Detroit Lions every day. Every day, y'all. Appreciate it. It's been, 11 days since the NFL season ended. And, I know it's going to go quick. I know it's hard. We should have at least been playing last week. And I know it's tough to kind of be waiting on. We got to wait for the football season to end. That's the thing. And, but the excitement for 2023 is going to be ridiculous. There's a guy on YouTube. His name is Jake Ellenbogen. He actually hosts the Believe in Rams podcast with the Believe Network. And he thinks that the Detroit Lions are going to be Super Bowl contenders next year. And I'm like, that's coming from a Rams fan. So that's going to be crazy. Yes, Mr. Poole, I saw that yesterday. Microsoft laying off 10,000 people. And that means that for those of you who don't know, and we'll get talking about the Detroit Lions, but I just want to connect with y'all real quick. I do gig economy work, and that's by choice. In 2019, I ran into a situation where I was asked if I could harbor my son because we had 7 days on and 7 days off with his mom and I. And so she needed me to come through, and she said, hey, can he stay with you? And I'm like, Okay, cool. So, at the time, it's 2019. This is pre-pandemic. So my wife works full time, and I'm his dad. So not to say that she's any less of what I am, but I had to come through. So I had to change positions, and I decided to do the gig economy work. So that stuff where 1099 and stuff like that. So here it is, 6 months later, about a year later after I started that, then COVID came, and COVID actually boosted the gig economy because people were stuck at home, so they had to have they couldn't come out the house, and at that time, essential workers were gig economy workers, right? They were part of. I'm not trying to say that you know what I'm trying to say. We were allowed to go out when they put Michigan on lockdown. So long story short, is that field has become oversaturated now because people were laid off with COVID, and for the people that were out there before COVID, we just start getting flooded with people who had to make ends meet and do stuff like that. And now some of those people have never returned. Their positions don't exist anymore. And now Microsoft is laying off 10,000 people, like Microsoft, like Bill Gates. You know what I'm saying? So that is tough. And I know it's hitting everybody. But yeah, man, you never really pay attention to it until, like, I went to the store. Eggs were $8. It's like, oh my God. As a matter of fact, oh my God. I was like, what? And I had just bought some the week before, and they were like, remember when eggs was like $1, bro? Like $1.90? Crazy. So yeah, everything's going up. So I had the trusty calculator, and I was going, and I spent I think it was about 150 yesterday. But you don't get what you used to get no more, bro. It's crazy. But you know what? Let's lighten the mood a little bit. Man. Let's talk about some Detroit Lions. So we got some stuff to talk about today. And I know that y'all are sick of it because I'm sick of it too. But I saw something today, and they just insist that Lamar Jackson is coming to Detroit. I don't know where this stuff is coming from. I don't understand. Like, I understand you have to have things you need to talk about, but why is Lamar Jackson, why does he just keep getting connected with the Detroit Lions is something I would never understand. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And it's frustrating me. It's irritating me because, yeah, Paul says I'm struggling right now. Might need to get a second job. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, bro. I used to run. So I have another YouTube channel, and it started off as DoorDash Dad. And so I have over 11,000 subscribers over there. And the funny thing is, for the first 2 years, I've been in the gig economy for 4 years now. And for the first 2 years, 2.5 years, all I did was DoorDash. And I had to expand because now I do Amazon Flex. I do DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub. I do all of that stuff. And it takes all of that just to, do what one app used to do 2 years ago. But that's life, man. That's life out here hustling. Other NFL news, Patriots are looking to hire Bill Bryant, the OC from Alabama, and Ravens have restarted contract talks with Lamar Jackson. Well, it's about time. It's about, you know what? He deserves a Lamar for that one.
Man, he's so crazy, better pick up the phone. Lamar Wilson.
Thank goodness. So all of that stuff, Lamar to Detroit, can stop. Thank goodness. Lord have mercy. Oh, I can't wait till they get this done so this garbage can stop. What's up, Vash? What's going on? Hey, Paul, if you're not looking for that much, bro, or you're looking for a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there, look into the gig economy, bro. You can do it at your own pace and stuff like that. If you need a couple $100 a week or something like that. So don't say I never did nothing for you, bro. No, I'm just playing. All right, so let's get this thing started. Oh, hold on, y'all. I forgot that I have to mute that. That should be muted anyway. Why did that go off? Okay. All right. So the plan is, as I keep telling you, to appear on camera eventually. I am going to. The off season is great because I get to do other things. So I'll be glad it keeps me busy. So I miss football for like the first couple of weeks, but the XFL will be back, and that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Like, oh, how are we doing it? And, some dudes hitting each other. I think a lot of times we get to live our aggression through football. I think a lot of times that's why we watch it. You know what I'm saying? It subconsciously is like therapeutic for us too. So I think that's why we miss it a lot as well. Okay, so Mr. Poole says, new GM in Tennessee targeting Jimmy G or Trey Lance to replace Tannehill. Mr. Poole, you are dropping him today, bro. You are dropping him today. If I was the Ravens, I would trade Lamar to Houston. They got 11 picks this year. Oh, my goodness. You know what? That's going to get our second. Oh, my God. Man, I wish we had 11 picks, bro. I would love to, because I know Brad Holmes would finagle. What's up, Gaddy? What is going on, bro? So, yeah, I have started to, I'm not going to be on Tuesday because Tuesday I can open up some stuff. I can work on some graphics and stuff like that. So, Nick will be on Tuesday. Do y'all know I have not, and we'll get into Lions talk, I promise, but do y'all know I've still not taken my car to get the headlight fixed? I've been feeling some type of way. So, I'm going on Tuesday. It's been like 6 weeks, y'all. So, thankfully, my wife has been letting me use her car when them street lights come on. So I got to get it done. I got to get her done on Tuesday. I actually like that. I like that, y'all. Tennessee, I like Jimmy G to Timmy C. I like Jimmy G to Tennessee. I like that, bro. Yeah, Gaddy. Nah, bro. I made an appointment and then I missed it because I had some came up and I just been feeling some type of way. So let me do this real quick. Let me do this, and then I promise we'll talk Lions for everybody that came in. They're like, what did this do? So I've been feeling some type of way. Real brief. I have a Nissan Altima. Nissan sent me a recall notice saying that you might have to get the headlight assembly replaced. So they would do it for free. I go to the dealership. My light is out. This was about a year ago. Now, I've had this car for 4 years. My light is out on the driver's side. When I go, I tell them, and my dad taught me to change both at the same time. Now, you have to take the bumper off to replace the headlight. So it's something I'm not about to do at the crib. So I get it done, and it's outside the warranty window. So then I go back to get an oil change 3 months later, and I'm inside the warranty period. They say, your headlights passed the inspection test, so I don't require the recall assembly. I'm like, okay. So I go out about 6 weeks ago, and the same light that they replaced is out. So I'm feeling some type of way. And when I pull up, I'm be like, bruh, is there some type of warranty or something with this? And I'm feeling some type of way. So, I've been kind of boycotting a little bit. And that's what that is. But anyway, let's get to Lions talk before we start. Like, what are they talking about? Is this a therapy session? But I appreciate y'all. And let's get this thing going. All right, so this comes from Bleacher Report. Kenny Pickett would love to reunite with former college teammate. Who is the teammate? Jordan Addison. I saw this yesterday. So that's coming from Kenny Pickett. Will the Steelers take a receiver? They just kept Matt Canada, so why would they? Hold on, let me cue this up real quick because I think this needs a. And Byron Leftwich has officially been fired, so I don't think Tom Brady is going back to Tampa Bay. They're saying that the Raiders are a huge candidate. All right, so we'll get into Lions talk after this. Coming from Ian Rappaport, Jim Harbaugh says Lamar Jackson is our quarterback and says there is a 200% chance he stays. That's a lot of percent. He'll be involved in the OC hire. Well, you know what? That means he needs another one.
Man, he's so crazy, better pick up the phone. Lamar Wilson.
That means that y'all can stop with the Lamar Jackson to Detroit. Thank goodness, bro. Thank goodness that's going to be over with. But let's get this thing started. Let me pop out this chat real quick so I can have it. Pop out chat. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the off season. You know, the season gets kind of tedious. It gets tedious, and it's tough. It's tough, but because I do all these games and it's just nonstop. We long for it, but then when it's here, it's like, oh my God, you know. So I do appreciate the off season, and before you know it, y'all will be in free agency and stuff like that. Speaking of free agency, y'all was clowning yesterday. All I heard was Levante David. He's too old. He's too old. He's too old. What are we talking about here? The man he'll be 33 years old. Bobby Wagner is the same age and playing at an outstanding level. I don't understand. I guess I do, but it's like you got a 5-year shelf life in football. I have no idea. But if you're playing Tom Brady is 46 and he's playing at a high level. If he had a run game and an offensive line, he would have done more damage. So I don't know, y'all. We got to get off this he's too old stuff. When if their performance is equal to what they've been doing and they're growing in age, what is the he's too old? We're not looking for Levante David on a 5-year deal. You know what I'm saying? We looking in here to help make us contenders because the Detroit Lions are going to have to do that. They're going to have to get some people in free agency to help make us contenders. Mr. Poole says Brady is not retiring. Gronk out here talking about playing another season. Gronk, stop it. Stop it. I got an issue with him, bro. Yeah, I called Detroit. I called them and said I'll retire when they said they traded me to Detroit. That was a sucker move, bro. I get it, but for that right there, I have no love for him. Nick says I wouldn't mind Addison to Detroit. All right, so let's do this because I think that this is all right. We all know we got the good news on Tuesday evening. Your boy was at work and the news dropped that Ben Johnson was staying in Detroit. Now, the first thing that came out after we got that announcement is he must have got the bag. He must have got the bag. And it came out today that those assumptions were 100% right. And we said this on yesterday's show that Ben Johnson, he said all the right things, and I think he meant those things. I think he meant, hey, we're building something here. I want to see it through. I think he meant that. But that also could have meant that he got the bag. We don't know what that bag is, but he got the bag. Came out this morning, according to Ian Rappaport, sources say he'll return on an enhanced contract that features a large raise. Johnson was one of the highest head coaching candidates and likely would have ended up with the job. Now back in Detroit, excited for another season. And I think that is fantastic. But we all knew he got the bag. We all knew that it wasn't just that he wanted to stay and he wanted to see it through. If you're at your job and you do well, you're employee of the month, 6 out of the 12 months, right? Or you come in your job and you're an employee and you're out working everybody else in your department, right? You enhance the sales. Your sales numbers are ridiculous. You have transcended, made this team, your group around you transcend, which is what Ben Johnson has done. You are going to, when it's time to be reevaluated and you get offered another position, what will make you stay in that position? Now, most of us would say, I think we got those out there like the dun, 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 dun. I want to see this through. Yeah, I'm one of those people too. But if I'm doing fantastic, I'm going to want to see it through. But we're going to talk about a raise. And that's exactly what, and I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at Ben Johnson. He deserves a raise. We had the 4th offense in the league at the end of the year. Imagine if we don't stumble against the New England Patriots. Imagine if we don't stumble against the Dallas Cowboys. We put up 6 points in 2 weeks. And then on top of that, the bye week, right? And then we came out against the Jets and won by a few, stuff like that, right? So, of course, he needed a raise. Nick says, I want my money. Possum says Sheila Hamp for MVP. Absolutely. Because let's be clear. The Ford organization has not always been known to give people the bag to stay. They might make stupid decisions and overpay people that have no right to be part of the team. They've done nothing. But Ben Johnson has earned a raise. Okay, Vash says, I'm a bit torn on it. Ben Johnson definitely deserves a raise. We had the number 4 offense to end the year. And unlike Aaron Glenn, who has a interview, or the Arizona Cardinals have requested an interview with Aaron Glenn, which I don't know what they're doing. Okay. Aaron Glenn ain't ready. He ain't ready. If anybody hires Aaron Glenn, no offense, but they trying to lose. They're not trying to win. They trying to, but this man defense was atrocious the first half of the season. Now, he did kind of redeem himself during that second half, but he had to lose one of his homies to do that. Y'all remember that song, This Is For My Homie? The Gangsta Lean, bro. They had to sacrifice Aubrey Pleasant, but it worked. It worked. But Ben Johnson clearly was going to be having an introductory press conference very, very soon. Very, very soon. So, that's what that is. That's coming from here. So, for me, Ben Johnson staying is a big deal, but we knew he got the bag, and I'm glad he's here because that means that Jared Goff will continue to be able to thrive. And I think a lot of people, understandably so, a lot of people were kind of nervous about this, that if Ben Johnson left, what would that mean for the offense and Jared Goff? Jared Goff finally started to get his footing, started to make some progress, looks like, and was on the NFL. Y'all ready for this? This offense, Ben Johnson was able to, now I'm not going to take everything away like it was just Ben Johnson and Jared Goff had nothing to do with it. You have to be teachable. You have to be moldable. And Dan Campbell said that Jared Goff is doing everything he can to be better. If you tell him something, he's going to work on it. He's not going to fight you. He's going to work on it. Jared Goff was number 15 on the top 100 players. He ranked 15. That is outstanding in the 2022 NFL season. So, and a lot of that had to do with Ben Johnson and the offensive play calling. So I am stoked about this. I am stoked about this. And I'm glad that he's staying. But we knew he got the bag. Now, hopefully for his sake, we don't regress. It says Johnson recently interviewed virtually with 3 teams with reports out of Carolina. He was among the favorites to land that job. Now, with Harbaugh pulling out of the situation, the interview process, I think the only one out there is Sean Payton. People trying to wait what he's trying to do. But he's going to come with a mid to late first round pick. That's going to be one of the compensation products for him. So I'm excited that Ben Johnson is staying. And you know what? I'm impressed. And I have to give credit to Sheila Hamp Ford for giving him a pay raise because he deserved it. He deserved it. So Ben Johnson sticking around. And you know what? That's any job, y'all. That's any job. If you do a good job, right? If you do outstanding, if you're a winning employee of the month, or if you take a franchise or a team from the depths and you elevate them to the top 5 offense, do you know that the Detroit Lions are the only team in the top 11 scorers that did not make the playoffs? That was because of their defense. Then you deserve a raise. So shout out to Sheila Hamp for acknowledging a job well done and giving Ben Johnson a large raise. I'm sure somebody will get their hands on the amount somewhere, and we will know what that is. But congratulations to Ben Johnson, and congratulations to the Detroit Lions offense, because we need that brother. We need that brother, and I'm excited for him to be a Detroit Lion. Dern is in the building. What's up, D? What's going on, bro? Sean Payton wants $20 to $25 million a year. Yeesh. That's quite a bit. Patty Grimes in the building. What's up, man? Holy smokes. That is a lot. That's a lot. We get 2 3-round comps picks for Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn is a Rooney Rule. Yeah, that's a terrible rule. The rule is I know why it's there, but basically the rule is the token black guy. That's what it is. And you know, we know that. We know that the Rooney Rule, it has good intentions, but they need to rename it the token black guy. That's what they need to do. No, Patty, I do not. Speaking of that, how many players do you think will be on the top 100 players of 2022? Think Goff, Sewell, St. Brown, Hutchin, Jamal Williams. That'd be fantastic. We didn't have a single player on the top 100. Yeah, but that will change coming up this year. So that'll be something good to say. So if you're just now joining us, we talked about Ben Johnson getting a large pay raise and what him sticking around means for the Detroit Lions, and the fact that Lamar Jackson looks to be in talks with contract talks with the Ravens now that their season is over. They have fired their offensive coordinator, and they are claiming that John Harbaugh said that he is 200% sure that Lamar will be their quarterback for next year, which is fantastic, which is absolutely fantastic. So that is great. That is great. But yeah, you know, the NFL has to do a better job at not being so, you know, legitimately trying to get minority coaches. Dolphins fired their DC like, everybody's getting fired. Let me see. Hold on. My homie's got to make a video. Hold on now. All right. Hey, yo, what's up, fellas? What is going on? If somebody can get a video about that out, that would be fantastic, about the DC. That's big news, man. So it just needs to be, I don't know, anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. You can bring in a tweet and do that, but that is big news. So if y'all can't do it, then maybe I can do it after the show. Let me know. Sorry, y'all. Had to conduct some business coming up. So let me ask y'all something, man. What is the issue with Lavonte David? I know the season is still going on, and when you make content this time of year, then it's really hit or miss. It really is, because there's football still going on, and the Detroit Lions are not in the playoffs, right? They're not going forward, and we're kind of cleaning out the lockers and all that stuff. So, but what is the deal? You know that Brad is going to sign some free agents, right? You know he's going to do that. And it might be worse. It might be somebody less productive than Lavonte David. He is the second-ranked linebacker coming out in free agency. And y'all, I get it, but I don't at the same time. So I saw this early today, and before I proceed, I want to see what all of these are. Lord have mercy. Oh, God. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, this is worth talking about. Lord have mercy. Oh, man. All right. So we talked about this yesterday, and I gave this man love. Brad Behrman from Fansided, he always has a spicy take, whether it's anti-Jared Goff, and I truly believe that there's something going on as to what – I know it's just like genuinely people who don't like Jared Goff. They just don't, and we can talk about him forever. But I assure you this, Jared Goff is a hot commodity right now. There's got to be at least a third of the league calling the Detroit Lions to acquire Jared Goff. I promise you that, even with that hefty contract. Because as Brad Holmes said in his press conference, he thinks it's easier to get worse at quarterback than better. And Jared Goff is a solid quarterback. So let's give him his props. But Brad Behrman doesn't particularly like Jared Goff. And you can just tell from the content that he produces. But according to Fansided, which I said before, I love this fan site. Love it. 3 bold moves to put the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl next season. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that it is outlandish to talk Detroit Lions and Super Bowl in the same sentence. I really don't. All they need to do is make it to the playoffs. But what do we need to do? We need to fix our defense. That's beyond a shadow of a doubt. We're not going to get there with the defense we have. That's facts. We might have made it to the playoffs. We're not going to get to the Super Bowl with that type of defense. You can't win the Super Bowl with the 32-ranked defense because the 31-ranked defense will probably beat you if they made it, right? Which they won't either. But we have to solidify our defense. It's got to get better. But the reason I brought up Jared Goff and Brad Berryman is because the number one thing that he suggests is acquire Lamar Jackson. Now, we've been over this several times. I'm not going to elaborate. I'm not going to elaborate on this because I don't want to. I don't want to. We already know that he is not going to be a Detroit Lion. John Harbaugh, already said that he's 200% sure that he is going to re-sign and be their quarterback in 2023. Louis Riddick came out 2 days ago. People are still talking about the Detroit Lions a week and a half after our season ended. Louis Riddick tweeted 2 days ago, Lions are going to the playoffs in 2023 and going to be a real contender for the trophy when they do. That is fantastic. I didn't see this tweet till right now. But these are the other 2 bold moves that the Detroit Lions could do to get to a Super Bowl. I want you to tell me what you think. And it's funny because we've already talked about these. We've talked about these. Move number 3, trade for Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is another guy that for some reason, maybe it's the Brad Holmes, LA Rams connection, that he just keeps coming up. He keeps coming up when you talk about the Detroit Lions. The 28-year-old has 3 years left on his contract at base salaries of $17 million in 2023, $14.5 million in 2024, and $15.5 million in 2025. Which means that if the Detroit Lions traded for him this year, he would be on the team for at least 3 seasons. With dates each year where either a chunk of salary, 2023, or a $4 million roster bonus, 2024 and 2025, comes due. That's via over the cap. The Rams would retain the cap implications attached to Ramsey's prorated signing bonus. But a post-June 1st trade would clear $17 million in cap space for this year. Chat, do you want Jalen Ramsey on this team? What would you be willing for Jalen Ramsey? And the only reason I'm entertaining it is because they just will not let this thing go. I've seen on Twitter, I've seen a lot of places that his name keeps coming back up. I don't believe that that is a viable solution. Would I mind Jalen Ramsey? I don't think he fits this team. But my thing is, you have the money, right, that he is going to require, and you have the assets. Don't forget the Jacksonville Jaguars received 2 first-round picks for Jalen Ramsey. You're not going to get that now. You might get 1 because he's still playing at a high level. The team had a bad year, but Jalen Ramsey at 28 years old is still playing at a high level. I just don't think that Jalen Ramsey fits this team. Now, when I made the video about that, I got a lot of pushback in the comments saying, I disagree with you about fitting the team and all of this stuff. Jalen Ramsey, from a financial aspect, is a tough sell. From a compensation aspect, when it comes to assets, is a tough sale. Would he make this team better? Of course he would. But I'm going to put Jalen Ramsey in the same category that I put DK Metcalf. Would be great for this team to have from a talent standpoint, but I just don't think they fit on the team. So Jalen Ramsey coming to the Detroit Lions, and this is very high speak of this young man, Super Bowl contenders by making Jalen Ramsey a trade for Jalen Ramsey. And like Patty says, we are not one player away. We're a defense away. That's facts. That's facts. So I'm going to disagree with that one. Number 2, sign Tony Pollard. Again, people we've already talked about. Tony Pollard will be a free agent this year. He had over 1,000 yards, and we just talked about him in yesterday's segment, right? He averaged 5.2 yards in the 2022 season, and they're still playing. They are still playing. I'll tell you what, as far as making it to the Super Bowl, I disagree with this tremendously. Like, this is not Tony Pollard. And it's funny that we had a defense and an offense, but our offense is solid. Our offense is solid. The only way I could see a Tony Pollard coming in is if Jamal doesn't resign. And I think that Jamal Williams is here. Nick says, I give a second-round pick and a third-round pick next year. For Jalen Ramsey, I assume you're talking about. Well, the Rams, you know what? I'm not sure what the Rams would do because the Rams have sold their soul year after year after year, and they finally got what they were shooting for last year. The Rams, then they tried to give up 2 first-round picks with, what is his name? Brian Burns. So, obviously, but they're in such a rebuild, kind of, that Sean McVay was talking about retiring because he didn't want to face the adversity. So when it comes to Tony Pollard, I don't see the Detroit Lions signing a running back unless we get word that Jamal is not coming back. Then I could see it being between him and Josh Jacobs. But people are very high. And let me ask you this. We talked about this a couple days ago. There's been a lot of talk. There's one name that keeps coming up since we're on the subject of running back. I am of the mindset that we need a defense. I have of the mindset that we use our 2 first-round picks on defense. But people are kind of on this Bijan Robinson thing at 18. That maybe we take a DT or a cornerback at 6, and then with our pick, we take Robinson. How would you feel on that, about that? I don't know. Some people are saying that he's the equivalent to Saquon Barkley. So there it is. Nick says, if Jamal isn't coming back, I'm drafting Bijan. Okay. Here's where I'm at with that. Our defense has to be solid. KD says no, just no. Here's the good and the bad. As a matter of fact, I might make a video about that later today. The good is our defense. The bad is our defense sucks. Our defense sucks. Okay? So we need to get that. We need to get that taken care of. That's the bad. The good, though, and why I would entertain that, right? And it's seeming more and more likely if Jamal Williams doesn't sign. And even if he does, that's a hard sell with the way our defense. If our defense was ranked top 10 or 15, I would say, sure, do it. But if that was the case, we would be in the playoffs by now. But the thing about that is, DeAndre Swift is ending. He will be on his last year. And this is why the Bijan thing is intriguing. Because Jamal Williams will probably get a 2-year deal. DeAndre Swift is entering his last year. Which means that in 2024, we could have no running back. And if Robinson was there and is there and could take us for the next 5 years, that is a move that you could make 100%. So let me know what you think about this. Do you think any of these moves, even though Lamar Jackson is 200% to be back in Baltimore, do you believe that Jalen Ramsey, Lamar Jackson, or Tony Pollard would make us Super Bowl contenders next year? You know what? I think that one of the things about when you do YouTube content, right, and people are like, oh, At 1-6, there were creators talking about the draft. I just refused to do it. And I feel refreshed for that because there are people who talk mocks every single day. There are people who are mocking after the mock. Like after the draft, I think Mel Kiper did the draft was a day old and he was doing the way too early 2023. I just can't. Life is too short for that. I like to live in the day. I like to live, like carpe diem. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Phineas and Ferb. I like to live in the day, in the foreseeable future. I don't want to go 5 and 6 and 7 months ahead. You know what I'm saying? I do like planning and I like that type of stuff. But to just always be talking about the draft when there's a season going on it's just something I can't do. But it's intriguing though. The mystery behind it is what keeps me invested. So I believe these next 3 months they're going to be easy because it's going to be so much intrigue behind what the Detroit Lions are going to do. Right? A lot of intrigue. I could see a scenario where they do take Robinson 100% because of everything I mentioned before. DeAndre Swift is entering his last year. Unless we hear that the Detroit Lions, they're not going to do any contract talks during the season. And remember, y'all, they didn't even talk. When TJ Hawkinson was still on our team, I remember very vividly he was on Bussin' with the Boys, and they talked about contracts. And he said, and this is when I knew TJ was gone. I just didn't know if it was going to be to a Minnesota Viking. He was like, we haven't talked about a contract. And he said that he would let his production get him his money. He said he produces, he knows the money will come, right? If DeAndre Swift does not get an extension between now and kickoff, then they're not going to talk about it during the season, right? So there is a scenario I could see us drafting Robinson. I'm not going to act like it's, no. We know we have to. I'm going to trust that Brad Holmes gets his defense right, 100%. I'm not going to trip out because Bijan can play immediately as opposed to Jamison Williams. When we knew he was coming off a horrendous defense, we got a guy who we knew was going to help us very little in the year he was drafted. So that was a project you were already saying we'll get him next year. He'll be an asset next year. So if we drafted Robinson, I would not have a fit. Bijan can run, catch, and block all good like a Zeke Elliott. Mr. Robinson helped the offense to keep drives alive and teams to game plan for. He helps the defense. So let me ask y'all this. How high are y'all on Mr. Robinson at 18? Is that who you want? So am I hearing that you no longer want a quarterback? Is that what I'm hearing? Tell me what y'all think. I think I'm going to go this route. I think I'm going to go this route on Syndicate, man. It's it's dry out here. It is dry, but you try to pick content that might be intriguing. And I really don't think Detroit Lions fans are that huge into free agency like that. I don't know what it is. Okay, so Matthew says, what's up, Derwin? Matthew says him or Richardson. So you're saying a potential quarterback. Vash says, sure, oh yeah. Over QB, oh yeah. No, I want defense with the first 2 picks. Okay, so we got our first kind of anti-Robinson.
Butterfly in the sky.
Ben Johnson is staying. I'm okay with not taking a QB until late. Okay, how late? How late? I feel that Brad Johnson, he has traded every single draft. He will trade this time. 100%. He will trade this time. I expect a trade to happen every single Brad Holmes draft. If Jamal isn't back, because with Jamal, the running back room is too crowded. Okay. But here's the thing, though, Nick. DeAndre Swift entering year 4 of his he's on his final year, which means that he may or may not be back. You may or may not want to sign him. If you take Robinson's here for 5 years. He's here for 5 years. Well, I have been trying to get this man to make content, and Troxo came up with a fire name, Dern's Hot Takes. Dern says Robinson greater than Williams. Well, that is video worthy right there. That's how you get the Detroit Lions community talking. So y'all are very, very high on this kid. If Jamal is back, you go defense. Well, I'm asking y'all right now, if Bijan Robinson is sitting there at 18, would you take him? It's just a yes or no answer. No need to elaborate. Yes or no. If Bijan gets picked, Swift could be traded at the draft. Ooh, Possum Boy. Possum Boy, that might be, you know what? You're going to get the air horn of the day. That has not crossed my mind. Nick says yes. Bro, that did not cross my mind. Now, you know, Amon-Ra St. Brown said no when it came to should they get rid of Swift. He said no. Derwin says yes. Gaddy says yes. Katie say no. And this is why this stuff is exciting, y'all. This stuff is exciting because I love this. I love this type of talk as far as what y'all think. But yet, hey, Dern. So let me just be clear. Okay, Orlando says no. Okay, so let me ask you a question. This is where this thing gets sticky, and this is why this is intriguing to me. DeAndre Swift is on year 4. Now, I'm going to be real with you. DeAndre Swift has not done enough for me to consider him special. I know I'm just a guy sitting in his basement with YouTube dreams talking about his favorite team. But DeAndre Swift can be special, but right now, from what he's done on the field, is not. And if y'all think that Bijan is special, and the fact that we will have him for 5 years, and the fact that DeAndre Swift is entering the last year, and the fact that once the season, if they don't extend him, that means that he is playing for a contract. I think he's got potential. When he's out there flashing, he is flashing, man. And you just like, man, this kid could be so good. Then you start thinking about Hard Knocks when Deuce Staley was up in his face like, come on, man. You could just tell like DeAndre is missing something, whether it's confidence or whatever. He's got the skill. And when he's on, he's on. When he's not hurt, he's fire. But when he's not, he's not. He is a dud. Michael Jackson says Swift is trade capital. If Ringo is there at 18, we need to get him. Okay, let me ask y'all this, since this is intriguing to me. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. And this is my own, and this, man, that hour went fast, bro. That hour went fast. We are at the end of the show. We got 12 minutes left. I got to leave a few minutes for the song, man. All right. What's up? What's up, Johnson? What's going on, man? Okay. Yeah, I wasn't really that impressed, Dern, with Ringo in Georgia's run to the Natty. As far as in the playoffs and stuff like that, I wasn't that impressed. All righty then. Okay. So let's have some fun here. I can promise you that the Detroit Lions will not take a tight end in the first round. That is not happening. Tankathon has Cam Smith at 18 and Tyree Wilson at 6. But the reason I came to them because I want to see what we have. Because I want to propose something to y'all. Okay. So this is a 2-part question. First part of the question is, do you think that Robinson will be there at 18? That's the first thing I want to hear. Now, according to Tankathon, they don't have him coming off until 23. And guess what? They got the Baltimore Ravens taking Bijan Robinson. Now, that's something I definitely don't want to see. But they got J.K. Dobbins. But I'm telling you, that 2020 draft class of running back, the first 2 picks, yeesh. or the late first and early second. They're all kind of faltering, man. I'm not impressed with none of them guys. All right. So part one was, do you think he's going to be there? KD says yes. Nick says trade back with 9 with Carolina because they need QB help. Okay. Now this draft is going to be unique because the Miami Dolphins, who are picking 21, do not pick. So the first round will be 31 people, but they're still going to have 32 picks. So you're not going to be the 31st pick and the round will end. You'll still be pick number 32. But the Miami Dolphins, who would be picking 21, don't have a pick. So essentially, you're going to get a player higher. All right? Now, here's the question that I have for you. Y'all saying that he'll be available. Let's say that the Lions are getting antsy and they really want Bijan and they're getting antsy. They're like, we know that Brad Holmes is aggressive when it comes to the draft. You pick 6, you don't take him, you take somebody else. So now you're hoping he's there at 18, but Brad is getting antsy. And he decides, well, it depends. So this one is a little too, I can't really pinpoint it. I was gonna ask you how would you feel if he traded up, but we don't know how much he would trade up to. So the Lions came up from 32 to 12, and they really didn't sacrifice that big. Like they moved up 20 spots, which I see why everybody was so excited. Nick says, don't trade up for a running back. If he's there, take him. Okay, well, so he's not that special then. He's not that special. If you're not willing to trade up for him, he's not that special. That's what I'm going to say. I'm just saying. Because y'all making this guy seem like he Barry Jr. Is he Barry Jr.? If you're not willing to trade up for him, then he not as special as y'all making him seem. If Swift is part of the trade, we know he picked. He is, but it's a positional value. So he's special enough to trade up, but you're not willing to do that, is what I'm hearing. So no trade up for Mr. Robinson. But whether we trade up or not, this is kind of going to be an intriguing couple of months. Who's going top 10 with running backs is too risky in general. That is true. That is true. Unless you say Saquon Barkley. He came out number 2. Saquon Barkley was the 2nd overall pick. So it happens. I would trade up, but I'm not a GM. James says Bijan is not necessary given what else we can get that we also need. And James, I agree with that. But as reasons that I won't overstate, but I think that it's intriguing because of the DeAndre Swift situation, who, by the way, was Dan Campbell was Matt Patricia and Brad Holmes's. Oh my God, Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. Their last gift was Jeff Okudah and DeAndre Swift. So I think this is more about Swift than it is about what we need. You know what I'm saying? Dern says you take best player available. Okay. So if our defense absolutely sucks, what if the best available player is on offense? We stacked that offense. We could use a running back. We could. But that's my issue with BPA. It's like, everybody, BPA, best player available. I don't know. Sometimes I disagree with that sentiment. Because you need, what if the top best picks in the 5 that we have, so we have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. What if they're all offense? What do we do? What What if it's Robinson, it's a receiver, it's offense, a guard, a tight end? What if the best available player is a tight end? So let me ask you, if the best available player at 18 is a tight end, what would y'all do? What would you do? I know it's unlikely, but what if it is? And that's the part that, to me, is like, we need defense. We need defense. Hey, Vass, I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. The BPA, I think, is flawed a little bit. The Lions need defense. We really do. So if the best available player at 6 is C.J. Stroud, is that who you want? Do you want C.J. Stroud? Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, Bryce Young, those guys are gone. Miles Murphy, whoever, they're all gone. And the best available player is C.J. Stroud. Is that who you're taking? KD says absolutely not. Darn, you a hot mess, bro. Hey, your channel better be out February 1st. You better have your channel up and running February 1st. But that's what I think on as far as best player available. I just think that it's flawed. I really do, because I will not back down from the fact that the Detroit Lions need defense. And y'all saw my reaction with Jameson Williams, and it was warranted 100%. I literally said during the draft, we better not have the 32nd ranked defense. And what do we have? The 32nd ranked defense. Even if it was for half the year. We cannot, I will not, under any, I don't care who it is. Our defense I want our defense to, Mr. Poole says 29th. Well, it was 32 for half the season. Let me ask you a question. We'll wrap the show up. The Detroit Lions defense was ranked bottom 5 2 consecutive years. Matt Patricia, it wasn't that good. We've been in the bottom, like the toilet bowl of the defense. What do you want to see? What is acceptable for you and the Detroit Lions defense as far as ranking? Overall defense, if we were 29th to end the season, what is acceptable for you? We got our offense. We got all these trade-ups, all this stuff. What is acceptable for you? For me. As a matter of fact, we'll make this the last segment because I think this is good enough to make a segment from. We are having a lot of draft discussion. And I think it's time. We got free agency. The Detroit Lions have to make a move. And for some reason, you guys are not high on free agents. You're just not. Levante David, solid linebacker at 32, 33 years old. We're acting like he can't play anymore. We also know Brad Holmes is not high on drafting linebackers. But we've had a fantastic conversation about what should the Lions draft? And we are talking BPA versus position of need. And the chat has given me a great talking point that I want to get you guys' opinion on. In the 2022 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions had the 32nd and 34th pick, in which they could have got a safety, a cornerback, a linebacker, anybody they want to. Whether it was Seen, Dean, whoever it was, they could have got whoever they wanted at those that was available at that position. But Brad Holmes decides that Jameson Williams is more valuable than defense at this point because we got Aiden Hutchinson. Now, after that, we spend 6 on defense and 2 on offense as far as our 8 picks overall. And I want to know, in your opinion, what is acceptable for you as far as defense for the Detroit Lions? Me, I'm a huge position of need guy. That's me. If the best available players are all offense, we don't need an offense. We could possibly use a running back, but we don't need an offense. Tankathon has the Detroit Lions taking a tight end for the longest. There are other mock drafts that has the Detroit Lions, which is dumb to me. We probably won't even take one in the draft. We got Zylstra. We got Mitchell. We got Brock Wright. We don't need and we got free agent if we're going to do that as well. Free agent tight ends. So my question for the chat and for the viewer is, what is acceptable for the Detroit Lions defense? When I say acceptable, what overall ranking is acceptable for you when it comes to defense? We started the 2022 season on pace to be historically bad. Historically bad. ESPN had us giving up 599 points, which would have been the worst of all time. And don't forget, before Aubrey Pleasant was fired, the Detroit Lions were trending historically bad. We're talking about worst defense of all time. Thankfully, and I got to give some love to Aubrey because he went out there, sacrificial lamb, got the team together. The defense had a defense-only meeting, and they turned this thing around. From that point, they started to rank higher. I think at one point, they were the fourth best defense in the league, but the damage had already been done from the first half of the season. So after being trending historically bad, after the first year of Dan Campbell with a bottom 5 defense, the end of Matt Patricia's regime with the bottom 5 defense, looks like we ended the season ranked 29th. So we had 3 teams worse than us. That's huge considering where we were the first part of the season. But the hole was so big that as well as we played in the second half of the season, we couldn't move up more than 3 spots. So my question to you is, what is acceptable for you with the Detroit Lions as far as defense in 2023? Me, I would have been a lot more lenient last year. Not this time. We're going to break the league down to thirds. 1 through 11, 12 through 23, and then 24 through 32. I want my Detroit Lions defense to be ranked in the second third of the league. We don't have to be the Buffalo Bills. We don't have to be the Philadelphia Eagles. We just can't be the bottom third. At this point, if we jump up from 29 to 23, that's huge. That's huge. I want between 12 and 22. 12 and 23. That's what I want. Rainbow Girl says 12 or 23. That's what I want to see. Do we need a running back? We could use one. DeAndre Swift is at the end. He is playing for a contract. No matter how much we like the kid, no matter how special we think he can be, DeAndre Swift is playing for a contract. If you think Mr. Robinson is that special, knowing that you can have him, he is Saquon Barkley-esque. Look at Saquon Barkley. He's on the last year of his deal, right? Saquon Barkley has been a catalyst for the Giants' success. Early half of the season, he was the leading running back in the NFL. Now, he did have a vicious knee injury a couple years ago. It took him last year to get back to going. I still don't think Saquon Barkley, 26 years old, has reached his prime. He will be coming there on his second contract. So I see the appeal for a running back or somebody on offense. However, I have sacrificed the defense. I finally got Aiden Hutchinson, the pass rusher. We still need to get some people on that defensive line. We got to get some linebackers. We know how Brad feels about drafting linebackers high. He does have an eye for them later, as we can see from Houston and from Rodriguez. However, for me, anything less than 23 is unacceptable. So if we take offense, Robinson at 18, and I don't know, Will Levis at 6. In my opinion, we still need a receiver probably. We need some offensive pieces. Now, we do have to let the free agent market pass up, but I don't think he makes, when it comes to the free agent offense players, I don't think he does much. Dern says, we thought Jared Davis would make all the difference. Who is we? Who is we? Dern, who is we, bro? No, we didn't. We did not. We did not. I don't know who we is. Look what happened. We drafted for need. Pick guys that actually fit your team and don't chase needs. Well, yeah, I don't know who we is. I don't know who had Jared Davis in 2017 on their radar. And I was just getting into this business. And I haven't at all. So, but I feel you, Dern. I know your point. I know your point. Your point is you drafted for need and not for BPA. Well, I'm going to tell you this. I don't care what we do. All I know is if we rank at 28, 29, 27, 26, I'm going to feel some type of way. It is time to address the defensive side of this ball. The offense is stellar. Ben Johnson is still here. We better. All we needed, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't make the Seattle Seahawks punt one time. That is a problem. The secondary, our cornerbacks are a problem. The linebacker position does need some help. Shout out to Alex Anzalone, Malcolm Rodriguez. You take them two out, it is a problem. The interior line is a problem. The offensive side of the ball is straight. Tweak here, tweak there. Maybe a guard, maybe something on the O-line, maybe a receiver, maybe a running back. We better not be ranked bottom 5 in 2023. That's all I'm saying. We were one stop away from making the playoffs. I'm going to let y'all sit on that all season long. I got a lot of slack for Jameson Williams. I will not back down this time. I didn't back down last time, but y'all made me feel, not y'all in the chat, but you made me feel like, oh my God, Jameson Williams is the best player in the draft. All that is over. It's over. We better, our defense better not be bottom third of the league. Period. 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 There's no discussion. If we made the Seahawks, Nick, that's a good one. Hold on, let me cue up that's a good one.
Got him!
But listen, I want to know from the comment section, what is acceptable for you for the 2023 Detroit Lions defense to be? For me, 23 or higher. Because 23 or higher, we might be in the divisional round right now. Our offense is good. Ben Johnson is staying. Plug a couple holes. Make a couple positions better. Maybe. But the defense, make Seattle punt one time. Get this defense right. Let me know what you think down below. Man, I haven't been attitude-y grid in a minute. Listen, I've been talking Detroit Lions on the internet since 2017. Each year I got further and further into it, and then 2019 is when I started, like the consistency. And from that point on, I have wanted two things on this team. A legit pass rusher and a backup quarterback. And every time I've talked about those positions, it has been over and over and over kickback about, we don't need, I said I would pay 10 to 12 million for a backup quarterback. Oh, that's too much. Is it? A backup quarterback who can win games. I don't want a Nate Sutfield on my team. If you're not paying 10 to 12 million, 6 to 8, you're going to get a Nate Sutfield. You're going to get a David Blau. You're going to get a Tim Boyle. I want a quarterback that can win you 3 games, who can come in and you have faith that they can still win games. Do we have that on the Detroit Lions? No, we do not. At all. Nick says we need that 2014 defense. Who do we have in 2014, bro? Ndamukong Suh. Our linebackers were solid. We had, and the thing about the line, I'll say this, and I promise we'll wrap the show up. If you look at the defense as a whole, it works in layers, right? One of the reasons I think Sauce Gardner was so good is because of the rest of his defense, right? Mosley, the guys on the line. We all know that if you have a solid front seven, they make the secondary so much easier because the quarterback does not have time. In my opinion, Darius Slay is not that good. To me, he's not that good. He is an opportunist. He is a product of a good defensive front seven. We could win with a subpar secondary if the front seven were good enough, and they're not. They are not. Our linebackers need help. We still need help on that D-line. Take the San Francisco 49ers front seven, and then you add on the secondary? Come on, man. That's the type of stuff. When you watching the Niners fly, they flying around. I can't even talk. I'm so excited. They flying around. I'm talking about on the ball. Very little missed tackles. And when they get hold of you, you are down. Bosa is relentless. That could be Hutch. Warner is ridiculous. We need help in the secondary, in the defense, period. And this year, I will not back down. I don't care how hot. If we trade up and we get Robinson, I probably won't lose my mind because he can play immediately. And I know what we got on the line. I know DeAndre Swift is on the – but all I'm saying, I probably won't pop it all, honestly, because Brad Holmes has been doing a stellar job with this team in drafting. But when the season starts and we are halfway through the season and our defense is ranked 27, 28, I'm going to have a problem. I'm going to have a problem. I'm just letting you know right now. Anyway, I said I was going to get off in an hour, and I lied. I got to stop doing that, man. But listen, we back on tomorrow for the last show of the week. I will not be on Tuesdays, and don't forget, David Pike is on Saturday. Wild card weekend is over. Divisional round is here. We got 4 games coming up this week. We'll talk tomorrow. Appreciate y'all. Go Lions.
Hello, good morning. Horns is blowing, and I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the motor city, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the motor city, everything ain't pretty but it's love though. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet.